There is certainly an argument that no debt is good debt, but borrowing money and taking on debt is the only way many can afford to purchase essential big-ticket items like a home. While those kinds of loans are usually justifiable and provide value to the person taking on the debt, another end of the spectrum involves carelessness obligations. At the same time, it's easy to differentiate between these two extremes. Welcome back to our channel. Today's video is about the difference between good and bad debt. Before we start the video, please like, subscribe, and press the bell icon. Let's get started. What is good debt? Good debt is often exemplified in the adage, "It takes money to make money." If the debt you take on helps you generate income and build your net worth, that can be considered positive. So can deficit enhances your and your family's life in other significant ways? Examples of good debt: student loans. This debt helps to raise your income potential, which can justify the need to borrow the money. The Department of Education estimates that those with a bachelor's degree earn around $1 million more in their lifetime than workers without a post-secondary education. But you still want to limit the amount of money that you borrow. You can sometimes roll lousy debt into a student loan. Don't borrow more than you need to have extra spending on your own business. Money that you borrow to start your own business can also come under the heading of good debt. Being your boss is often both financially and psychologically rewarding. It can also be challenging work, like paying for education. Starting your own business comes with risks. Many ventures fail, but your chances for success are greater if you choose a field that you are passionate and knowledgeable about: your home or another real estate. There are various ways to make money in real estate. On the residential front, the simplest often involves buying a home, living in the home for a few decades, and then selling the house at a profit. In the meantime, you also enjoy the freedom of having your own home, plus an assortment of potential tax breaks not available to renters. Residential real estate also can be used to generate income by renting it out, and commercial real estate can be a source of cash flow and eventual capital gain if you know what you're doing. Another way to see it is use a mortgage to keep buying more investment properties. Your debt will go up, but in a good way as long you have positive cash flow. What is bad debt? It's generally considered bad debt if you borrow to purchase a depreciating asset. In other words, if it won't go up in value or generate income, you shouldn't go into debt to buy it. Examples of bad debt: cars. While you may find it impossible to live without a car, borrowing money to buy one isn't a great idea from a financial perspective. When you leave the car lot, the vehicle is already worth less than when you bought it. If you need to borrow to buy a car, look for a loan with low or no interest. You'll still be investing a large amount of money in a depreciating asset, but at least you won't be paying interest on it. Clothes and consumables. It's often said that clothes cost less than half of what consumers pay. If you look around a used clothing store, you'll see that half is being generous. Of course, you need clothes, food, furniture, and other things, but borrowing to buy them using a high-interest credit card isn't a good use of debt. Use a credit card for convenience, but ensure you'll be able to pay off your entire balance at the end of the month to avoid interest charges. Otherwise, try to pay cash. Credit card debt. This is often considered bad debt because of the items that credit cards are used to purchase. It would help if you never use debt to buy everyday things like clothes or food. If you use a credit card for these purchases, it should be intentional. For example, to earn rewards knowing you'll pay off your entire balance on the due date. Putting a vacation on your credit card may be tempting because you've convinced yourself some time away can help you be more productive when you return. However, a break does not have appreciable value, even if it does have legitimate benefit. How to focus on good debt and avoid bad debt. Getting into a habit of taking on good debt and avoiding bad debt takes practice and a shift in your mentality. Good debt is obtained by making wise decisions about your future, not for the sole purpose of having good debt. For example, you might decide to get your master's degree to increase your earning potential. If you have no other way of financing your education, taking out a student loan could be a valid reason for taking on additional debt. Approach your debt payoff strategy wisely too. It's usually a good idea to pay off your bad debts since they may cost you more in fees and interest than your good debts and have very little appreciable value. You should pay off credit cards and auto loans before tackling mortgages or student loans. Some people consider using good debt to pay off bad debt, like getting a mortgage for $110,000 instead of $100,000 and using the extra to pay off credit card balances. This approach may not be a good idea for several reasons. It'll take longer to pay off your mortgage. A higher mortgage increases your monthly payments. The higher mortgage increases the time it takes to build equity in your home. Pay attention to how much you borrow. Your choices of spending your money relate to whether or not a debt is considered good or bad. It is important to remember that any excessive debt used to purchase wants instead of needs should likely be avoided. Additionally, just because the debt is good instead of bad does not mean you should borrow all the money available to you. Use good judgment when you make decisions to borrow money. You may regret purchasing a home if you end up being house poor. It's advised to keep your debt-to-income ratio below 35% of your income. And as you consider taking on more debt to buy something, be intentional. Ask yourself the following questions. Will I have something to show for this money in the next year or 5 years? Is it something I need immediately, such as paying for a car repair? Is there an alternative way to pay for this? Pay off your debt as quickly as possible. Even if the debt is considered good, you should work to pay off your debts as quickly as possible. It will allow you to begin to build wealth. It can also help you pursue your dreams because you will not be as dependent on your monthly paycheck. There are many reasons to get out of debt. If you are serious about getting out of debt, you'll need to set up a budget and debt payment plan that allow you to apply additional money to your loans each month. You can pay off your debt quicker than you think. Your money is managed correctly. It may mean taking on an additional job for a short period or cutting back on your lifestyle, but the sacrifices will be worth the effort. Good debt is the type of debt that may be considered an investment, such as a mortgage, business loans, or real estate-like rentals. This debt is taken on to purchase something that will increase the value or contribute to your financial health. On the other hand, bad debt is used for purchasing material things, in other words, liabilities. This includes credit card debt and high-interest loans. While bad debt might make you happy, it doesn't provide any return on your investment that puts you in a better financial position than you were before. For most people, having some debt is almost impossible to avoid, but making smart choices about borrowing and being aware of the good and bad types of debt can help ensure your debt doesn't become overwhelming. That's all for today. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more content.